As we continue the series in the long anticipation for the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, up next is Wrestlemania 14. It took place on March 29, 1998 at the FleetCenter in Boston in front of 19,028 fans with an admissions gate of $1,029,000. The event brought in a 730,000 pay-per-view buy, the first time the WWF had seen over 700,000 buys since WrestleMania 5. The WWF was now in the Attitude Era and was on fire. Hosted by Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler with Kevin Kelly on interviews, celebrities returned to WrestleMania such as Pete Rose and Gennifer Flowers, and the biggest one was former boxing heavyweight champion Mike Tyson. Tyson was once pitched an idea to face Hulk Hogan in 1990, even going as far as promoting a fight between the two that never came to be. Tyson would then be invited to Royal Rumble '98 as part of an estimated $3.5 million deal that would have him feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin, join DX, and be a special enforcer of the main event at WrestleMania. The big sell was Shawn Michaels defending the WWF Championship against Stone Cold Steve Austin, the biggest star in the company, and after WrestleMania, the Austin era of the Attitude Era began. The match is followed by one of the best storylines of that time, The Undertaker taking on his long-lost brother Kane. The card was strong, with 5 championships on the line including the light heavyweight and European titles being defended for the first time at a WrestleMania. We attempt to make a stronger WrestleMania with this alternate card. This time we would add the Taka Michinoku light heavyweight title match with Aguila in the free-for-all pre-show. 40-man battle royal to face the WWF champion on Raw after WrestleMania. We would start the show with a huge battle royal whereby the winner would get a title shot against whoever the WWF champion is the next night on Raw. The participants: Owen Hart, Taka Michinoku, Dick Togo, Sean Waltman, Val Venus, Vader, Mike Droz, John Tenta, Funaki, Kurgan. Barry Windham, Legion of Doom, Savio Vega and Miguel Perez, Jose Estrada and Jesus Castillo, The Truth Commission, Bradshaw and Chains, Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown, The Quebecers, The Rock and Roll Express, The Headbangers, Too Much, Disciples of Apocalypse, New Midnight Express, Steve Blackman and Flash Funk and the Godwins. Mark Henry wins the match, throwing out Vader last. Triple H, C. versus Ken Shamrock for the WWF European Championship. Owen didn't make a convincing babyface. Instead, we would have Shamrock want revenge on Triple H after being screwed out of the WWF title at the December In Your House event and have the two go into a long feud, leading to a final match at WrestleMania. Shamrock would make Triple H tap out to win the European title, but because he wouldn't let go of the ankle lock, WWF officials stop him and reverse the decision with Triple H retaining. Sable vs. Luna vs. Marlena vs. Chyna in a fatal 4-way women's match with Sunny as special guest commentator. Sable feuded with Luna over Mark Marrow using Goldust as Sable. Marlena stayed here and feuds with Luna over her taking her man Goldust. Sable and Marlena did a nightgown pose down on Raw and got into a fight. Chyna, who hated all the drama with the women, decided to enter the match. Chyna dominates anyway and wins it by making Marlena tap out with the torture rack. The Rock, C. versus Farouk for the WWF Intercontinental Championship and leadership of the nation. A great opportunity missed. The feud started at the Royal Rumble when The Rock threw out Farouk on purpose. The Rock, being the IC champion, makes the case that he should be the leader. Farouk has the advantage only for The Rock to signal with the people's eyebrow to the nation on the outside to betray Farouk, giving The Rock the win with the sharpshooter, though Farouk was out unconscious. Marc Mero versus Sable Dust in a singles match. We would have Sable break up with Mero, as Mero continued to make Goldust play Sable and become his valet, and she gets fed up over it. Because of the breakup, Mero, who sees Goldust dressed like Sable on Raw, gives him a beatdown and demands an intergender match at WrestleMania. He actually thinks Goldust is Sable, making Jim Ross afraid of Mero's mental health. In the match, Goldust gets stripped down to his undies and Mero gets confused in that he isn't really Sable after all, giving Goldust the chance to get in the curtain call for the win. The New Age Outlaws, C. versus Cactus Jack and Terry Funk for the WWF Tag Team Championships. We would quickly acknowledge that Chainsaw Charlie is Funk, and keep the match as it originally went down, with Foley and Funk winning the tag titles. The Undertaker versus Kane in a singles match. Kane was so over, as well as the storyline. From the start, he was originally supposed to be a one-off character. We would slightly change the story to make it seem The Undertaker burned down the family funeral home by accident instead of blaming Kane for starting the fire. We would keep the match as is with the exception of the finish. Taker gets in 2 tombstones on Kane, but isn't able to pin Kane as he's exhausted. Kane sits up with Taker at the same time. Taker goes for a 3rd tombstone, but Kane reverses it for the shocking tombstone and pinfall win. Of course, this would end the streak but would give Kane a huge push, while getting his revenge on his brother, who he blamed for murdering his parents and left him to burn. Paul Bearer demands Kane destroy Taker but instead leaves, which confuses him. Paul stays behind, kicking Taker down, only for Taker to awaken and throw him to the outside. Kane comes to aid Paul as Taker stares at him, but Kane leaves, making Taker wonder why Kane didn't destroy him. Shawn Michaels, C. versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship with Special Enforcer Mike Tyson. No changes needed, with Austin getting the title. We could, however, have Tyson do a normal count instead of the fast count he gave. Alternate main events. Stone Cold versus Mike Tyson, with Austin having to face Tyson early on first before facing Shawn. If Bret Hart had stayed, he could have been a full-on heel, becoming Vince McMahon's role model of what a WWF superstar should be, and would drop the title to Austin. If Hulk Hogan had decided to return to the WWF after his real-life meeting with Vince around August of 1997, Hogan could have returned by the Royal Rumble as a heel, win the title and drop it to Austin. What did you think of this card? Stay tuned for WrestleMania 15. Comment, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching In the Plot.